Hey everybody, it's Eric here, the Angry Tech at Leitz Music, and I want to welcome you to our new workshop here. Because of your trust in our service and repair work here, we're able to expand and improve our workspace. And today, in our new workspace, we're going to show you how to properly maintain and clean your guitar. Alright, so here we are. We got this really awesome American Professional Telecaster. A store stock. It needs a little bit of love. It's been demoed a bunch and played on a little bit, so it's got some fingerprints on it. The rosewood fretboard has a little bit of dryness to it, so we're going to take care of cleaning the instrument first. Now, to thoroughly clean, you might have an old t-shirt you're about to throw out. Save it, cut it up, use it for a rag. In this case, I have a t-shirt, but I also have a microfiber cloth that I'm going to use. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to polish the body first. And we're not going to spray directly onto the body. We're going to actually spray onto our towel. Always spray onto your towel. And also, don't use this junk on your instruments. This is really bad for it. Household cleaners are no-no. So do not use stuff like this. You'll end up ruining your instrument. So here I have some Dunlop 65 polish here. I'm going to spray right onto my microfiber cloth here. And also make sure your cloth is free of contaminants like maybe little pieces of lint or types of fibers that might cause like little swirl marks or scratches in the finish. And we're just going to go over the body, keeping away from the metal parts. And then after you polish, turn over to the dry side and go back over it. And looking in the light, I can see the fingerprints are gone. No spots missed. There are some spots on the metal, but I'm going to use the other cloth for that. Always use a separate cloth for metal and one cloth for your body. And feel nice and soft. And turn the instrument over. There, it's got that. And then you could just run along the edge of the guitar. Now I have my t-shirt here. I'm just going to go over my metal parts. I'm just going to use dry cloth here. I'm not going to use any type of cleaner on it. If you need to use cleaner, you can dampen it with a little bit of Windex. I do have some Windex in a bottle around here, but I'm not going to use it because I don't need to. It's just very light smudging on the metal parts. But you can put a little bit of Windex on there, and you can buff out the little. If you have really heavily smudged or oxidized metal parts, a little bit of Windex, vinegar Windex. Will help that out. And that's so much better. A little bit of spot there, a little spot there, missing spot there. Now there's a spot right there that's kind of being stubborn. That's where I would use a little bit of Windex, but it's not really bothering me, so. Great. Now you might find after you take your strings off your guitar, there might be some dust. You can use a fine fibered paintbrush. Camel hair brush works well. You can just brush over your fingerboard and also your headstock. Headstocks and the fingerboard usually where you get most of the little bit of junk. And up here on the headstock is my tuners. I'm just going to give them a good wipe. No, those are good. Next place we're going to focus on is the fingerboard. This is a rosewood fingerboard on this guitar here. So we can use a fretboard conditioner, and we're going to use the Dunlop 65 Ultimate Lemon Oil. This is lemon oil that's made specifically for musical instruments. Don't use some sort of lemon oil like over the counter for furniture polish or for home use. Those typically have some sort of petroleum base in it that will ruin the instrument. They only use lemon oil on rosewood, palo ferro, ebony woods. If you have a natural neck that's maple or some other like a hardwood like that, you don't need to use any type of fretboard conditioner, especially finished necks. If your neck is finished and has a gloss on it, you don't need to use it then. Basically, just use the lemon oil for your rosewood, your palo ferro, or your ebony woods. Now, for the players who play a whole lot and play out frequently, you might need to give your fretboard, your fingerboard, a nice rub, because your skin and other little bits of gunk will build up on the fretboard near the frets. And in which case, you would get a quadruple aught steel wool, and you would scrub the neck, the fretboard. Now, before you do that, you would need to mask off the body in there so the findings and the shavings do not get on the metal, because you don't want that. Basically, you want to just mask off the area around it and just use the steel wool on the fingerboard. In this case, this fingerboard's nice, it's just dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our Dunlop 65 lemon oil, and we're not going to apply it directly to the fretboard. We're going to put it onto a piece of paper towel. So give it a few dabs, and then you will rub it in. And you can already see that there's some dirtiness. We'll add some more to it. Just keep on rubbing down. Turn that over. Awesome. As you can see how dirty that is. That's from the fingerboard. And in the process of cleaning it, we've also hydrated the wood down there. Let it sit for a couple minutes. If it's a really dry fretboard, you need to let it sit for a couple minutes. If not, you can go over it once and then take your paper towel and wipe back over it. Now, take another look at it and see if we have any other marks that we may have missed. Everything looks nice and shiny. There's a little mark on the lower bout here that I need to wipe off. Right there. All right. Just go back over it just a little bit. So here's some quick tips as we finished up cleaning this guitar here. Always use separate cloths. Remember, always use separate cloths. Spray your cleaner directly onto your cloth. Don't spray directly onto your instrument. Never, ever, ever, ever use any type of household cleaner. Always use a cleaner that's made for musical instruments, such as Dunlop 65 polish, and also their 65 fretboard lemon oil. When it comes to doing the fingerboards, if you need to use a steel wool, quadruple aught steel wool, and make sure you mask off the areas around your fretboard, covering your pickups and the body, because we want to keep that clean. We don't want to have any of the fine shavings from the steel wool, being spread around. Always make sure your surface an area is clean, because make sure your cloths are clean. If you have little bits of debris, you can end up cleaning up and then scratching the finish on your guitar, and you don't want to do that. You don't need to overuse a lot of polish. A little bit goes a long way. Go wet first, and then use the dry side of the cloth and wipe it off. That's it.